All right, ladies and gentlemen, MrSotko here. Welcome back to the channel. And today we're going to do something a little bit different. There is some news today. However, this is something that I've kind of wanted to show you guys for a little while. And it's a little bit of hopium because I wouldn't be a crypto YouTuber without just a little bit of hopium. However, I think it makes a lot of sense. This is the all-time trading chart for Bitcoin. Now, most charts don't go back any further than this. There was, I believe, an exchange. The first exchange was summer of 2010, something like that. And you could use PayPal basically to trade on it. I could be wrong about that. It might have been in summer of 2011. However, most charts really don't go back any further than this, and it's really not necessary for this. So as almost anybody in Bitcoin knows, there is a Bitcoin halving in which the Coinbase reward, not the exchange, but that's what they actually call the reward for mining is the Coinbase reward. In case you guys didn't know that, you'd be surprised at how many people do not know that. But it's scheduled to take place every 210,000 blocks, and a block is about every 10 minutes, give or take, and it's timed to be 10 minutes via difficulty. So it happens about every 4 years. The first one that occurred happened in November on November 28th in 2012. Which brought the reward down to 25. We've seen the next one in 2016 to 12.5, 6.25 we are at now. And in 2024, it will go down to 3.125. And by like 2032, I believe, we will be under 1 Bitcoin per block reward. Now, what's interesting about this chart is that you can tell when the rewards were halved because about a year later to 17 months later, there is a big spike in price. Now, we only have 3 of these, and that's not a very good statistical pool to pull data from. To be totally fair, there's only been 3 halvings, 2012, 2016, and 2020 so far. But so far, each one has led to a big explosion in price. Now, you could argue that it's for these various reasons. Coinbase came along in 2013, and there was quite a bit of hype about that. It was the first kind of good exchange, to be fair. 2017 was the super hype where a whole bunch of YouTubers popped up, including myself, and everybody had a shill link for BitConnect or Genesis Mining and this, that, and the other thing, and so on and so on. I can't really explain the explosion of 2021 at the all-time high. There really wasn't anything going on at the time. I think like Tesla accepted Bitcoin for a while. That was pretty huge. Elon Musk was talking about it from time to time. And basically anything Elon Musk talks about, it explodes. So you could argue that there are other reasons for this to happen. But with this chart, you can tell about how long it takes for the price to explode after a Bitcoin halving, at least from these 3 halving events. The first event happened, I have 2 different halving dates. The charts are maybe a little easier to read on this one, but the first one happened November of 2012. So if you go back to November of 2012 and you find that, let's see here, it was $12.43. You can tell that the all-time high in that era was November in 2013. So that was exactly 1 year later, approximately 1 year later. Now, however, in 2016, it was in July of 2016. So we'll find July here. And then in 2017, of course, we all know there was that $19,000 Bitcoin. This chart says that it was 13,880 because it only shows December 1st here, unless I really scroll in. But we all know what that price was. Now, that's about 17 months later. So it's a year and about 5 additional months. So about 17 months. it took for the all-time high to occur. Now, what's interesting is that it starts to become quite consistent the longer that this has gone on. May of 2020, we had a halving. And if we go to May, we can see the price was approximately $9,400. And now it depends on which one you really want to check out here. If you go to this, it was under a year. But if you want to go to the all-time high where it actually reached, what was it, like 64,000-ish, something like that. This shows 61.3, but again, the dates are just sort of in chunks by month. And that was October of 2021, another about 17 months later. So if we want to extrapolate this chart and see when is Bitcoin going to explode again, what I've noticed first before I get to that is that in the summer, in between a halving, like just before a halving, we have the year before a halving, rather, we have sort of like a big explosion in price, like temporarily, like in the summer of 2019, we got to like 12,000, something like that. And then it just dipped back down to as low as in the 3,000s again. Again, this chart is just by month, because it's so long. But that's a possibility too. So there's a possibility that this coming up summer, we're in, as of making this video, we're in the month of December. So in the summer, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a short rally with another decrease in price, in the price of Bitcoin. Now, that's not for sure. That's not as consistent as the halvings. So the next halving is projected to be around March of 2024. So by that measure, I suspect that Bitcoin will reach a new all-time high. And again, these all-time highs do not last long. You can see, when it gets there, it's done. Like one day, it's just going to reach the top, and and it's just out for a long time. So these are extremely ephemeral events. And when you see Bitcoin, at $64,000, $61,000, it is not going to last long. They just don't. You can see this one did not last long. It dove way down. As soon as it hit a little over $1,000, it was just out for a long time. This was a particularly long period in which it was a very steady price, and I think that was just the early adoption long period sort of event. But you could see there's a lot more turmoil once 2017 occurred, and Genesis Mining and BitConnect came along and made it super popular and made like shilling it super popular. I think that was a huge thing of 2017. I thoroughly believe that it was really YouTubers that exploded the price of Bitcoin. Now, I never had a BitConnect link. I never had a Genesis Mining link. And in fact, I thought Genesis Mining was an absolute scam, that if the price goes under, you're just not getting paid. It turned out to not be a scam. I don't mean to word it like that, but I thought to myself, it's really silly. Why give them money and receive Bitcoin when you could just, if you have the money, just buy the Bitcoin from an exchange? Like, it really didn't make sense to me. I didn't mess around with BitConnect either. However, I think everybody can kind of agree that there was so many YouTubers that are getting so many views, like Crypto Nick and gang, that were getting 100,000, 200, 300,000 views per video. There was a lot of signups. And the fact that it was day by day, you could sort of like, if you wanted to get into BitConnect, you would go to YouTube first, and it would be like, well, let's watch somebody else make profit first. And some of these YouTubers would start out with $100, and then they'd show a video the next day, and they're like, look, I made $8 from all the interest rate, and then they started getting signups, and then they just had thousands and thousands, and it was just rolling in. So it really made people think to themselves, oh, this is really good. Turned out not to be the case. So I believe that November of 2025, give or take a couple months, will likely be another all-time high. And if it is not an all-time high, like above $64,000, I believe that will be the high for that period of time. I think it will actually go further than $64,000 like the previous one, because each high is obviously bigger than the next when it comes to the halvings. But about November 2025, that's to say that everything goes smooth like it has been. You could argue that there has been some turmoil in crypto, but now with FTX, BlockFi, Celsius, all these crashing institutions, they tried and they failed. Now FTX sort of kind of almost failed on purpose, because they weren't even doing bookkeeping for employees or individual wallets or anything like that. It was one of the worst run companies pretty much of all time. It makes Quadriga CX look brilliant. So that goes to say, my prediction there goes to say that if there isn't some severe regulatory turmoil, because what is next in crypto? We have had these very significant periods that we were in over time in crypto. Remember 2017, it was new proof of work coin after new proof of work coin. You could literally mine a coin for a week or two, and then there was a new one that you could just hop onto and continue and continue and continue. I would combine maybe 2016 and 2017 in that. 2018 was sort of a deader period, but I remember doing between 2018 and 2019, it was a very proof of stakey period. There was all these Veil coin and all these different coins randomly coming out that were staking coins, and then 2020 it started to become into a more of a DeFi NFT / gaming period on the crypto blockchain. And a little after that, it was a huge interest loaning period that we have been into up until this point, which failed miserably, because the problem with cryptocurrency and loaning is that if you're loaning crypto out to people at $60,000, and then it crashes down to $20,000, you had to have a lot of leverage. If you were a loaning company, you're going to have 3, 4, 5x collateral. I mean, not leverage, collateral, in order to cover that. Because if I gave you one Bitcoin here, worth $60,000, and now it's at 20,000 and lower, and I wanted my money back, you would have to give me 3 Bitcoin back. So you're giving back way more Bitcoin than you ever started with, and more than the interest rate of the people that you were charging loans. So don't get me wrong here. You were getting, these companies were getting interest rates, from me and everybody else who had taken out a loan. But if I wanted to just straight up get my money back for putting the money on, and staking it on their platform and giving it to them so that I could receive interest, so that the company could pool it out and loan it out. And I wanted to take my money, because I put it on there for liquidity reasons. If I had given that company one Bitcoin at $60,000 for liquidity reasons, and they were like, yeah, we'll give you 5% interest rate for that, and I decided to take it, you would owe me several Bitcoin. And if everybody did that, they would owe 2, 3, 4 times as much Bitcoin as they actually had in order to give the full amount of money back. And that's why they all crashed. They didn't have an exceeding amount of collateral. And you can do that with the American dollar. You can do that with the euro, yada, yada, because they don't crash on a weekly basis. They don't go from 60,000 to 20,000 in just a matter of months. And you just can't run that. So I don't know what is next in crypto. I'm excited to see what it is, but it's going to be something different. And I think there's going to be a regulatory period coming up here real soon because of the crash of FTX, Celsius, BlockFi. I'm sure there is a lot of stuff going through legislative bodies right now all across the world saying we can't have this happen anymore. And is that a good thing for crypto? I really don't know, but it's not my choice in order to have that happen. I bet there are politicians all across the world right now passing legislation, talking with elites, etc., about the regulation of this, which could be a good or a bad thing. Again, I'm not here to decide which is which, but 2025 November is going to be the approximate time that we should see, as long as the market isn't so devastated from FTX and all of these crashes. Because remember, the people that put a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars into FTX and BlockFi, Celsius, etc., some of them are going to be burned badly, and they are not going to return. Now, you could argue that with 2017 as well, but I think people got a real good taste of it, and they wanted some more. They just weren't done yet. But there's going to be some people out there that will never touch it again. And I don't blame them. If you lost $100,000 on FTX and these various loaning platforms or exchanges, etc., I really don't blame you for not coming back. You shouldn't have had your crypto on there, but is it your fault for putting your crypto on there? I don't really want to argue that, but there is that. Now, moving on to some slightly shady news about Binance. It could be nothing, but there has been a lot of shade on Binance lately in the news. A lot of fudding. Is it warranted? I'm not really sure. Binance does scare me just a little bit. I think they're a little bit too big. The volume that they produce is the best in the industry. But they're in a country where if they were to have some problems, they're not properly audited. They basically brought in an auditor recently that they were like, okay, you're going to do this our way. You're basically just going to come in here and sign, and we're going to give you the information, and then you're just going to agree with it. That's basically how it operated. That's like auditing yourself. Like, no, I have all the money. You know what I mean? It doesn't... If it's not a third party, it's just, you just wasted everybody's time. It's like getting pulled over by a police officer and he's like, you were going 80 miles an hour in a 60 mile an hour zone. And you're like, no, I wasn't. I audited myself. And he's like, okay. And he just walks away. Like, it doesn't make any sense to audit yourself or to give an auditor very specific instructions on how to audit you. Or you're just not going to hire them. That's it's one of the silliest things I've ever heard. It doesn't make any sense. But behemoth crypto exchange Binance has seen massive withdrawals in the past week, and on Tuesday, the highest amount of one-day withdrawals since June, Nansen data has revealed. Binance's international arm saw over $8.78 billion leave its exchange and $5.1 billion in incoming funds, meaning the exchange faced a net outflow of roughly $3.66 billion. While such data only refers to Ethereum, Binance's Ethereum and ERC20 token movements, approximately 63% of Binance's portfolio is on Ethereum, and the outflows are much larger compared to other crypto exchanges over the same period. So again, that didn't even include Bitcoin. That doesn't even include some other blockchains and other coins that they have. That's basically just Ethereum and ERC20, anything connected to the Ethereum blockchain token. So basically Ethereum and tokens. Binance's $3.66 billion weekly outflow is leagues more than Coinbase, for example, which saw a net outflow of roughly $574 million from its main exchange and $248 million from its Coinbase custody service. So people are even taking it out of custody as well. Also, Coinbase recently is getting rid of Coinbase Pro. Used to be GDAX, and they're just integrating it into the Coinbase platform, which I may check out sometime. I actually haven't logged into Coinbase in quite a while to trade it all, but I'm leery of that. That with their stock declining and all of their money declining, in order to stay profitable, they're going to have to raise some fees, and that's really unfortunate because at the time, GDAX back in the day was amazing because you could effectively just use a bank transfer to transfer money, like the ACH, and that was free. So you'd have money on the platform for free, and then you could buy with limit orders. Limit orders used to be free. So if you wanted to trade, just be patient with limit orders. You could trade. I mean, if Bitcoin went up $70, you could have a limit order set, and then you would make profit. Depending on, of course, how much Bitcoin you had on there or in money. And then if it fell by $100, you could sell or buy. And if it went up $70, you could sell it and still make profit. So because there was just no fees whatsoever, and then you could take your money if you wanted to, and then just bail on Coinbase and ACH transfer it right back to your bank account. So I'm questioning Coinbase's new pro exchange platform that is going to be integrated. That's for sure. Web3 investment First Jump Crypto is among the entities that removed funds from Binance, according to Nansen. On Ethereum, Jump withdrew about 18.4 million this week and pulled about 123.4 million from Binance last week. While Binance is currently seeing a high volume with withdrawals, the exchange still holds roughly 58.9 billion in assets at the time of writing, most of which are in Binance's stablecoin BUSD, the stablecoin Tether, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So again, it's just Binance. Binance is scary. If anything ever happens to Binance, we're going to see. If you think FTX and the Celsius and BlockFi and stuff has lowered the price, just wait until something happens to Binance. I hope it does not. Again, I don't mean to like doomsay and give anybody the impression that I'm hoping that Binance fails. But with it being in Malta, there's basically almost no consequences for that happening. Moving on, FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried denied bail in the Bahamas. So my video yesterday was talking about how he was actually arrested by the Bahamas, and it was sort of a preemptive arrest because the Bahamas basically understood that this guy was in the Bahamas and understood that he had lost, who knows, $10+ billion of everybody's money, and is very unapologetic about it and has the humanity of Mark Zuckerberg. And if a robot and Mark Zuckerberg procreated, it would create Sam Bankman-Fried. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just look at a Sam Bankman-Fried interview. Really, I highly encourage. Just like YouTube it. Weird guy. So now he is denied bail. FTX founder and former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried will be remanded into custody after a Bahamas judge ruled he should be denied bail on Tuesday, which I believe is probably best, considering the guy stole billions and who knows how much money, and could easily be a flight or escape risk. Magistrate Judge Joanne Ferguson Pratt, if I said that right, ordered that there will be an extradition hearing next year on February 8th, 2023. So he will be in a Bahamas jail until February 8th. And who knows if it's like basically like a pleasure jail, where like there's actually no criminals and there's a big basketball court and a place to lounge in the sun and stuff. I don't know. Attorneys asked that he be released on a $250,000 bail, arguing he needed to be able to regularly take medication. I can talk, I swear, including Zyrtec, an over-the-counter allergy medication. So he's not like it's not like he's like a cancer patient and he needs like a very specific regimen of medication. He needs to regularly take his Zyrtec. It's just Benadryl. Basically, like he needs to take Benadryl and ibuprofen because he has ouchies. Early in the day, police escorted Bankman-Fried's parents to his home in Albany in the Bahamas to pick up Adderall, another medication. So he's got Adderall. So basically, we trusted $10 billion to a guy who needs to take Adderall and can't be in prison because... As if like a prison doesn't have medication. You know what my mom did all my life? She was an LPN, a nurse in a prison for like 10 years. She didn't go to prison. She worked there. And she gave out medication. That's basically what her main job was, is to put medication in a little white cup and give somebody a glass of water and have a big line of people come up and give them their specific medication. That's what she did. And I believe that the Bahamas can also do that. I'm confident that the Bahamas can give you your Adderall and your Zyrtec. Prosecutors in the Bahamas argued that granting Bankman-Fried bail would go against a treaty with the U.S., which required defendants to be held in custody pending extradition proceedings. Bankman-Fried told the judge he would not waive his right to fight the extradition effort, suggesting he may seek to remain in the Bahamas. So... This guy's gonna be in a lot of trouble. I think I had one commenter yesterday that said he'll probably end up serving like 3 months or like be on probation or something in his mansion for a little while, and then he'll get rid of he'll be released. And I actually wouldn't be surprised by that, but I think in this case, I think we're looking at some serious jail time. I think we're looking at some Bernie Madoff level of jail time here. This guy lost, I mean, more money than Enron and I think Bernie Madoff combined. It's going to be real bad. Moving on to CoinMarketCap here. What's interesting is we have a market cap of $867 billion. And that seems like a lot of money, but what's interesting about it is that is basically 2017 levels of market cap. I mean, it is relatively equivalent. It might be off by 20-40 billion dollars or something like that, but for the most part, it's strange that we are at the level of market cap that we were in 2017. And what's so strange about that is that in 2017, we didn't. There are like hundreds of. I'm not even sure where we're going to, how many pages there are. How many pages are there? 90 pages. 90 pages showing 1 out of 100. So each page shows 100. Apparently the 90th page would be shorter than the others. But there are 8,972 effectively registered cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap being tracked, charted, if you will. That is like 4 times as many, maybe even 5 times as many cryptos as there were in 2017. So that means that all of these cryptos, that some of which we used to have in 2017 as well, so that includes them, are worth just about nothing. I mean, it is astonishing how many cryptocurrencies are worth just absolutely jack. I mean, even going to the 6th page, and we're talking a market cap of 25 million, 20 million. So that's still, fairly good. But the more you go back, it is just diving down. 16 million market cap by the time we're on the bottom of the 6th page, the 600th cryptocurrency. So you can imagine by the time you get to 50 or 60th page, these cryptocurrencies are going to be in just the thousands in terms of market cap. There are 9,000 cryptocurrencies just tracked alone, and we're still at the same market cap. That means none of them went up in value, and it's really just Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of the top cryptocurrencies. Effectively, the top 100 is the only thing that is really holding up that number at $867 billion. If you did the math and added up this whole page, I'm not sure if they have a tool for that or not, but if you were to add up this whole page, the whole top page, it would probably give you like 80% of that market cap. And the rest of those 9,000 cryptocurrencies, sans 100 of them, would equal the rest. It's astonishing to me that we can say that they're, because I remember back in 2017, that it was like 1,800, maybe 2,000. I'm like, whoa, there's like 2,000, if that. And, we had this same market cap, at least, at the high in December temporarily. We didn't hit a $1 trillion market cap. So it's just these coins that are holding this whole thing up, basically. And I find that astonishing. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, I will see you guys next time.